To put it plainly, I have no idea what the hell is even happening anymore. First of all, my parents called me the other day to let me know they're coming to visit this weekend. Sounds normal, right? Well, it would be, if my parents hadn't died in a horrific car accident with a semi-truck last year. Yesterday, my little brother called me. He sounded incredibly unnerved about something, so I asked him what was wrong. This monster has been following me around since Wednesday. At first, I didn't believe him, but I asked him to describe the monster anyway. It has translucent white skin, unnaturally long legs, but walks on its knees, glowing yellow eyes that seem to gaze upon his very soul, an unerring smile that stretched from ear to ear with dagger-like teeth, and long, lanky arms with large, clawed hands. A wave of chills suddenly flowed over me, causing me to freeze up. I managed to regain my composure and asked him where he was when he noticed the creature. I was walking downtown to get some food for my cat, when I noticed something moving in the parking structure across the street. I focused on it and watched for movement. That's when I noticed a face peeking at me from around a car on the 7th floor of the structure, that godforsaken smile perpetually etched into its skull. I was petrified just attempting to visualize this creature. "I've got to go. I'll call you back later," I said as I hung up the phone. Is he crazy? Am I crazy? I don't even know what to believe anymore. My brother called me again. What he said sent a tsunami of pure, unrelenting fear through my entire body. "I met the monsters last night." I was taken aback. How is he still alive? "What happened?" I asked him. When I finally fell asleep last night after hours of tossing and turning, worried about the monster, I was quickly awakened by a scraping sound. It sounded like nails on a chalkboard and sent goosebumps down my arms. I lurched forward in my bed to find the source of the sound. I looked to the window, only to see those piercing yellow eyes staring back at me. I was frozen with primal fear, the most powerful emotion of all, as it slowly slid one long claw under the window and opened it. I was paralyzed as it crept through the window and into the room with me. I saw my life flash before my eyes as the monster outstretched its lanky arms toward me. I thought it would simply reach into my chest and tear out my still beating heart. I was surprised when the monster gently scooped me up into its arms. It cradled me like an infant as it crept back outside through the open window. As we crept towards the forest, the creature pushed itself off of its knees. It now stood at its full height, well above the treetops. It strode through the forest with an elegance not befitting a creature of its appearance. As it cradled me, it began to sing one of the lullabies Mother used to sing to us at bedtime. Its voice was that of a beautiful woman, but much more eerie. It was as if someone had taken a recording of an opera and layered it on top of itself, as if there were hundreds of voices singing at once. When I awoke, I surveyed my surroundings. I was still in the woods. There was an enormous bonfire directly in front of me, and the monster was on my left side, just staring down at me. Then, a second monster appeared behind it, much larger than the first. This one spoke in a deep voice that, once again, sounded like 100 voices at once. "My son, it has been far too long. Your mother and I have missed you dearly." I should have been terrified, but instead I only felt loved. "We have brought you a gift." With this, it put forward its hand, holding in it a children's book. It was one of the ones our father used to read us as children. As I groggily grabbed the book, the emotions I should have been feeling before hit me like a Mack truck. As I began to lose consciousness, Father said one more thing. "Tell your brother we have a gift for him too." Before I begin, I'm a 16-year-old male. About 3 years ago, I was in Virginia visiting family over summer. We were right outside the DC area and staying in a 2-story house near the freeway. On the other side of the freeway was a forest. So my mom, her boyfriend Eric, and I were all staying with Eric's parents. We had brought some night vision binoculars and decided that tonight was the perfect time to use them. So, after dinner, we gear up and head out. We pass under the freeway and head into the woods. When we get about 5 minutes into the forest, we set down our bag and take out our binocs. My mom looks around with them for a while, seeing a few squirrels here and there. She gets tired of them and passes them to me. I look around for a while, being careful not to look at the freeway for fear of being blinded. I spot something behind a tree about 50 feet to our left. I concentrate on it, trying to figure out what it is. It looks like a pale, bald, anorexic man looking straight at us from behind the tree. I get a bit uneasy, but I'm hesitant to believe it's really there. I ask Eric to take a look just in case. To my despair, he sees it too. He describes it much the same way I did. Now, Eric is a former amateur boxer, and I train MMA almost every day, but neither one of us wants to stick around with that thing. We start heading back to the house, crossing under the freeway. We take another look behind us as a car comes by. All three of us see glowing eyes lit up by the headlights on the other side of the freeway. We say F that and head back to the house. When we get back, Eric's parents are asleep and my mom and Eric go upstairs to the guest room. There's only one guest room, so I have the couch downstairs. I'm a little too excited after seeing the thing in the woods, so I end up staying up all night. Around 3 a.m. I'm watching TV and start hearing footsteps above me. I immediately remember our earlier encounter and panic a little. I try to calm down and tell myself it's just one of the dogs or maybe someone who couldn't sleep. I keep hearing the footsteps for a while until I hear a doorknob jiggle. I find it weird that they're trying to open a locked door, but try to ignore it. They stop, walk around for a few more minutes, and then it's quiet again. I stay up until the sun starts coming up and then pass out. My mom wakes me up and I remember the footsteps from the night before. I describe what happened and ask if one of them got up at any time. She says no, and I think it must have been one of the dogs. That is, until she tells me the room above me is the office. No one was in the office, and the door stays locked at night. My heart sinks as I piece it all together. I don't know if it was that thing for sure, but I think it was. I've done a lot of research since then, trying to figure out what that thing was that night. I found two creatures that seemed to match it. I think it was either a skinwalker or Wendigo. Whichever one it was, I'm just thankful that door was locked. I know I wouldn't be able to fight that thing no matter how tough I am. Thank you for making it to the end. We hope you enjoyed today's video. It's not too often that stories like these have happy endings, so we are glad we had the chance to share them with you. If you'd like to support the channel, please subscribe for more daily content. We hope you all stay safe, and as always, have a wonderful night.